Hey, what's up? This is Chris Robley from CD Baby, and today I'm going to walk you through the process of signing up a single for worldwide distribution to platforms like Spotify, TikTok, Apple Music, Amazon, Pandora, what else? YouTube, 150 other platforms all around the world. So I said single, I'm going to be signing up a single, but if you have an album, you can follow along as well. The process is almost identical. You just obviously have to provide more information with an album because there are more songs. I would also say this might take about 10 or 15 minutes. If that sounds intimidating, please don't be intimidated. That should be exciting to you when your music is new and you're ready to get it signed up, because what it means is CD Baby is asking you for a ton of metadata, which is just data information about your music, which we can then make available to the world in various capacities and help people discover your music, which could lead to new listeners. It could also lead to people, say like music supervisors, who are licensing music for film, TV, video games, stuff like that. It helps us, make that connection with them as well. So really, even if you're a hobbyist and you're not taking music super seriously, now's the time to spend the extra 2 or 3 minutes to do this right, because it really can amount to more fans and more money. All right, so with that caveat out of the way, if you already have a CD Baby account, click login. If not, click get started. Once you're into the dashboard, go here and click add new title. I am signing up a single, not an album, so I'll click release a single. Here you're going to be asked the first really important question. Do you want CD Baby Standard or do you want CD Baby Pro Publishing? Standard is good if you're doing cover songs or if you're doing old songs that have passed out of the copyright, maybe old traditionals, public domain, classical music, stuff like that. It includes a whole lot of stuff. CD Baby Pro includes everything in standard plus publishing administration. So if you're a songwriter or if you're a composer, a producer, someone who creates original music or original lyrics or both, you're going to want CD Baby Pro. Again, that includes everything from standard, plus it gives us the ability to act as your publishing rights administrator and go out there and collect all the publishing royalties you are owed, including some mechanical royalties, which are almost impossible for you to collect on your own. So I'm a songwriter, I'm gonna select Pro Publishing. So a lot of times people make the mistake of going standard just to get the music out, and then later they regret it and they wanna upgrade, which is fine, you can upgrade, we're happy to do that. But again, your music's new now, you're gonna have the most excitement about it now. Just set it up the right way from the start. All right, now it's time to talk about the music. Let's see, I speak English, so I'm gonna leave that as English. Okay, artist names, that's important. Who the hell are you? If it's a band name, that goes there. If you just produce music under your own name like I do, that goes there as well. In my case, I'm the primary artist and I have a featuring artist. I just toggle this little switch here to featuring. A guy named Rob Flax did some violins on my song, so I'm going to give him a feature. One thing I want to say about this is that, especially in hip hop and EDM, there's a lot of collaborators. There can be a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and that's great. But featured artists are really supposed to be reserved for the folks who really want top billing. It's not a place to say, oh, Chris Robley is the primary artist featuring Rob Flax, plus this other guy, plus this woman who sang backup harmonies, plus this person who added a beat. It's supposed to be kind of focused. So be sparing about how many folks you include and how many folks you credit on this section. Babies need names and songs need titles, right? So here we're gonna title my song. It's called Paper Angels. Next really important thing is your release date. That is simply the date you want your song to go live on all the different platforms. When do you want to live on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff? It's your launch date. We're going to deliver it to those platforms in advance of that launch date. But what that means is you really, really should, if you can, plan ahead and give us 3-4 weeks if possible. We can get the song on Monday night and potentially have it live on Spotify on Friday, but don't do that. If you rush like that, you're going to be skipping some other stuff we'll go through, missing opportunities, and you're definitely going to be missing opportunities like Spotify's release radar editorial submission thing, which they require that the music be delivered at least 7 business days before your launch date. So don't rush through that either. Give yourself time. Record label, if you have one, put that in here. If you leave it blank, it's just going to default to your artist name, and the same thing is true of here, this copyright owner, which refers to the copyright owner of the recording, not the song, not the composition. We're going to get to that in a later screen. UPC barcode, what the hell is that? Okay, that is a unique identifier for products out there in the world, and your music, whether you think of it this way or not, is a product. The streaming platforms we're partnered with, like Spotify and Apple Music, they require that every release have a UPC, so you're going to need one. If you already do have one, click this and just enter the serial number there. If you don't, click this one and you can get one from us for $5. Click save and continue. All right, all this fine print in the terms of service, it might look scary, and obviously you should always read all the contracts you're signing in your musical life, but I will just summarize this by saying we don't claim your rights. What we do claim is the ability to act on behalf of your rights. So you're basically giving us permission to distribute your music, and in cases like YouTube and Facebook monetization, to monetize your music. So we can step in to assert your rights and collect what you're owed. So if that sounds good, click that button and put in your legal name. If you're creating original music and you're opting in for CD Baby Pro Publishing, there's a similar terms of service agreement around your publishing rights. And again, we do not claim to be the songwriter. We don't claim to own any of your songs. What we are doing is claiming to be your publishing rights administrator. That gives us the power to act on your behalf to collect all the royalties you are owed. Another thing I should mention about this agreement is that if you were to get signed to a publishing deal elsewhere, we're happy to help you cancel and transition over. That's not going to be an issue. So click that, put in your legal name, and I agree. Okay, now it's really time to talk about your music. Got the artist names correct here. Is there explicit content? If so, click yes. If not, click no. If you do have, adult explicit content in the lyrics, you don't have to have a parental advisory sticker on your cover art, because this little checkbox is basically delivering the metadata to all the platforms saying it's explicit content, and they'll list it somehow. Usually you'll see like an E or an explicit content warning next to the track title. Language of lyrics, minor in English. You got a lot of choices here. If you have an instrumental track, just do no lyrics, instrumental. Is it a live version? Did you record this in front of an audience? Don't think too hard about this. Just, was it live? Did you record it live? Cool. Yes. I didn't, so I'm going to say no. Composition type. You've got three choices here. Public domain is a song that is passed out of its copyright phase. A lot of times there's songs written before 1923. A lot of classical music is public domain. A lot of folk traditionals are public domain. You want to be sure it is, but if so, click public domain. If it's cover song, click cover song, and then we will bring up a screen, which is basically saying, hey, you need to have secured the mechanical license to cover this song. We need to make sure that you are indeed paying the royalties that are owed to the songwriter and publisher for this song. Click that. But mine is not a cover song, it's an original. So I'm going to click this. All right, then you'll see this Songwriter Bank. If nothing appears there, click this, add new songwriter, and enter the information for the songwriters of the music you're distributing. You'll also see a list of songwriters who have contributed to music that you're distributing. So in the case of Joseph Moore and Franz Gruber, that's Silent Night. I had a Christmas cover song I did a while back. A lot of these other people are co-writers. Timothy B. Schmidt was just something I put in to be funny. I have not, unfortunately, written any songs with the Eagles. I'd be a lot richer if I did. And one other thing to notice, if there's a dollar mark next to the writer, that means they are properly set up for CD Baby Pro, so we can actually collect the publishing royalties for that particular writer. On this song, Paper Angels, I'm signing up. I am the only writer, so I'm going to click add to this track. But if I did have a co-writer, I could obviously also click that button for them. Then I got to say, what did I compose? Well, I composed the music and the lyrics. What percentage do I own? In this case, it's 100%. If I had a co-writer, I could also, put in the appropriate splits for each writer. Next, it's wondering if you have a publisher. If so, click yes, and you can put that information here. If no, click no, and CD Baby Pro Publishing will act as your publishing administrator. All right, we're going to talk about genres now. CD Baby has something like 700 genres to choose from. No, most of our partner platforms have nowhere near that many genres. They might have 12 or 30 or something like that. Why do we want to get super specific? Well, mainly it's about discoverability again. And there might be a time where the genre taxonomy of the streaming services does widen, does get more specific. And if that happens, we've got the information here to get very, very narrow, get micro niche about this. So let's select our genre, folk, and my subgenre, singer-songwriter. Genre number 2, I'll put pop, Beatles pop. Then we have a third thing called mood style. That's basically just another adjective or descriptor of the music. You can scroll through here and see what works. And I think brooding, very brooding on this song. It's so serious. Okay, artist location. What's your music scene? What's your hometown? Where do you live? I am in the United States, in state of Maine. Artists you sound like, again, this is more descriptors that can help in discoverability. So try to be accurate and honest. Don't just pick people that you idolize and you think are awesome. It should really be folks you do sound like. Def Cab, sure. Fruit Bats, Elliott Smith. Sounds good. Save and continue. This is an important one. ISRCs are a unique identifier that is specific to a track, a specific recording. So you're going to have the UPC that relates to the release, whether it's an album or a single release, and then the ISRC relates to the recording. If you have an ISRC already, great, click that one and plug it in there. If not, click I need you to assign an ISRC. Now, if you put a single out now, and then that same song appears later on an album, what you're going to want to do, as long as it's the same master recording, if it's, you don't want to do it if it's a radically different edit. But if it's the same recording, you want to keep the ISRC the same between both appearances of that song. So make sure you grab the ISRC from this single release and then paste it in when you're doing the album. Why? Well, that makes sure your stream count stays consistent across both appearances of that song. So when you drop the album on day 1, it's going to have all the streams associated with the single now lumped together with the album. All right, time to customize your distribution. So you can go downloads only, and that's going to put you on, Amazon and iTunes for MP3 downloads. But why would you do that? It's a streaming world. So at least do downloads and streaming services. We do have occasionally some chances to get exposure for your music that doesn't come with any kind of monetization component. If you're up for that, click do it all, even unpaid. Over here, you'll see a list of some of our top platforms that we're partnered with. If you, for whatever reason, don't want to be delivered to any of these places, just click on and off, and we will restrict delivery of your music away from those places. All right, we want to make sure that we're delivering your music not just to Apple Music, but to the proper artist profile on Apple Music. Because sometimes there could be a Joe Smith, and there could be a Joe Smith and another Joe Smith. We want to make sure we're getting the right Joe Smith. So if there's something already populated here, go ahead and click that for Apple Music and Spotify, and let's check it out. Yep, that's me. And yep, that's me. All right, great. If you don't see the right profiles listed, or if you don't see any profiles, go over here, click edit, and you'll be able to search and confirm the profile. So similar to the way you can restrict deliveries to certain platforms, you can also restrict certain territories. So if you have a licensing label distribution deal in Europe, let's say, well, that's great. Europe is covered for you. So just restrict deliveries to Europe and we'll send it everywhere else in the world. For me, I want to go everywhere. So I'm going to leave this checked. Click save and continue. All right, on this page, this is about additional monetization opportunities. We've got sync licensing here. Click that toggle switch. Sync licensing is the ability to license your music to TV, film, video games, stuff like that. It can be very lucrative. So, toggle that switch. It comes included with distribution. If you want to opt in for everything we do, just click this button here. And that's going to include YouTube content ID, Facebook and Instagram monetization, stuff like that. And basically these platforms have the ability to detect when your music appears in any video on their platform, and you earn money from that usage. So go ahead and opt in for all that, assuming it's original music that you have the right to monetize in such a way. You'll be able to see that actually in the tracks and eligibility section. Looks good. I agree to the sync addendum and I will save. Here's a warning about YouTube. If you're on YouTube and you see a third-party copyright warning or something that's saying CD Baby is laying claim to your copyright, don't get scared, don't freak out. It actually means Content ID is working for you through this system where we are claiming the right to act on your behalf. So again, don't panic. It basically means everything's working properly. Click agree. All right, so now we need your album artwork. We've got some stipulations here. We would really prefer that you upload something that's 3000 by 3000 pixels wide, because you might think that thumbnails appear on this exclusively, but with smart TVs and stuff like that, your album art actually could be displayed huge. So all the platforms want high-res stuff. So start with a big file, get us a 3000 by 3000 pixel image. Click this to upload, grab your image, and these little dancing notes there mean it's uploading. All right, once that is uploaded, you can do a high-res preview here. Click that. Yep, looks good. That's my artwork. Okay, let's save and continue. Okay, here's where we're gonna upload your actual music. And just like with the cover artwork, we want you to start with good quality. So upload a WAV file or a FLAC file. It's gonna be 44.1 sample rate and 16-bit. Please do not send us an MP3. The reason being that streaming platforms are going to further compress what we send to them. An MP3 is already a degraded format. It already sounds a little bit crappy. That's only gonna get crappier. So again, start good. Get us a WAV file or a FLAC file. Dancing notes means it's uploading. Right, now that's uploaded, click save and continue. All right, so now we're on the title overview page. This basically gives you one last chance to check that everything looks good, correct songwriters, correct artist name, all this stuff. You will not see a UPC yet until you've actually checked out and paid, but let's take a look at the sounds like. Yep, looks good, genre, all that stuff. If you do need to make edits, you can either click on the section or go down here and you'll see all of those options all over again. If it all looks good, click add to cart. All right, now it's time to check out. So click that button. On the following page, you'll be asked to confirm your order. And then on the following page after that, you will have a confirmation page. You'll also get a confirmation email. At that point, we will inspect your release. If there's any issues that we see, we will email you with details. Otherwise, it's going to go in the queue for delivery and we will send it out to the world. I hope that this was helpful. If there's anything you are still wondering about, check out CD Baby's Help Center. We have a ton of information there. And if it's not covered there, well, reach out to CD Baby. We are happy to help. See ya.